Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. My name is Turisiana binti Ahmad Buhari, and together with Fauziah, Saadah, Abdul, Halim, Rosdin, and Fatin, Nabillah, Muhammad, Baharuddin, we would like to share our study entitled Exploring Theory of Activity in Online Learning. Almost 2 years ago, when we first started teaching and learning online, many of us were skeptical of how this method can actually be effective in delivering lessons and replacing the traditional classroom. The fun part is that until now, many of us still question this. Are students comfortable with online learning? After all these remote learning sessions, are students focused and committed to online learning? Does online learning give the same feel or vibe as learning in physical classrooms? And what about the collaborative and social aspect of learning? Do students still get to socialize, work, learn together, and learn from each other like how they normally would do in physical classrooms? These are some questions that probably linger in the minds of parents, students, and of course the teachers themselves. Unfortunately, physical classrooms or face-to-face learning is currently not a sensible option. The way to move forward is now via online learning. According to Harun and Ahmad 2020, the theory of activity functions at 3 levels. Firstly, the technological level, which pertains to students learning through the use of technology. Secondly, the individual level, which relates to the individual takeaways from the lessons. And lastly, the community level, which involves social presence that exist in the online classes. So you see, there are still concerns about students' engagement in online learning. The big question is, do activities conducted on online platforms actually work? And if yes, in what way do they actually work? This study was carried out with the following objectives, and these objectives adapted elements from Martin and Bolliger's 2018 study. Objective number 1, to investigate students' perceptions of the operational structure in online learning. Okay, so operational structure here refers to the online environment. Secondly, to investigate students' perceptions of activities conducted online. Activity, on the other hand, relates to learner-to-content interaction. Thirdly, to investigate students' perceptions of peer-to-peer interaction in online learning. Now, peer-to-peer interaction actually looks into the action level. Now, the research objectives and research questions were formulated taking into account the current teaching and learning situation. Ideally, after more than a year of online distance learning, students should now be somewhat comfortable and engaged or more engaged with online learning. However, there is still this uncertainty as to whether or not students are truly involved and fully participating in this method of learning. Hence, this study is necessary to probe into matters pertaining to students' engagement in online distance learning. This study has looked into several relevant studies and theories that would help to understand the situation. For instance, Jung et al. 2002 said that academic engagement online should be, first of all, task-oriented, with regard to the content, of course. Secondly, have collaborative interaction. And lastly, involve social interaction. Now, meanwhile, Sanino et al. 2009 talked about the 3-level structure of activity. The first one, which is the activity level, which means that activity is done with a motive. Secondly, action level, whereby action is linked to a specific goal. And the last one is operation level, which basically means the specific conditions of online learning. Now, Martin and Bolliger 2018, on the other hand, came up with 3 types of interaction in distance learning, which are the learner, the content, and the instructor. They further categorized Moore's 1993 theory into 3 types of engagement: learner to learner, learner to instructor, and learner to content. Now, let's look into the methodology part of the study.
Hi, my name is Fauziah Abdul Halim, and I'll be presenting to you on the study's methodology. This study uses the quantitative approach to investigate the students' perception of the operational structure in online learning, their perception of activities, and peer-to-peer interaction in online learning as well. This study was conducted through a survey questionnaire, specifically through Google Forms. The questionnaire was adapted from Martin and Bollinger 2018, the Online Engagement Strategies questionnaire, which we used to collect the data. The original instrument included a total of 38 questions, 29 Likert type items, 3 open-ended and 6 demographic questions. After our instrument was reviewed and modified, the final version of the instrument included 22 questions, 19 Likert type items from 3 different sections: peer-to-peer, learner to teacher, and learner to content, which ranged from 1, strongly disagree, to 5, strongly agree, and 3 demographic questions. The demographic questions included age, gender, and highest academic level. Because we wanted to investigate the students' perception of engagement through online learning, data were collected from students ranging from tertiary education to primary schools over a period of 1 month. A total of 57 students responded, specifically 28 females and 29 males. Cronbach alpha was used to ensure the instrument's internal reliability. The instrument had an internal reliability coefficient of 0.955. Lastly, statistical analysis was performed using SPSS, and data were expressed in means, standard deviation.
Hello and good day. I am Rosdin. I'm going to talk about the findings and the conclusion. First of all, these findings they are presented by answering 3 research questions. The first research question is, how is the operational structure described in online learning? There are 3 statements which are related to the first research question. Synchronous activities offer immediate assistance. Asynchronous activities offer immediate assistance. The ease of online content is important. Means given here are 3.8, 3.8, and 4 respectively. From this table, I can say that the respondents, they put the importance in the ease of the online content, and they did not mind if the class was either synchronous or asynchronous. Let's move on to the next research question. Research question 2, how is activity performed in online learning? There are 4 statements here. Activities improve the understanding of the subject matter, 3.9. Activities in online learning could improve critical thinking skills, 3.8. The learners can use relevant knowledge wisely in learning process, 3.9. And the highest mean, 4. For it is important to get an overview of the content before the class begins. With reference to this table, learners felt that it was important to get an overview of the content before class began. They also agreed that the activities improved understanding of the subject matter, and they could use relevant knowledge wisely in the learning process. And lastly, they also felt that the activities online could improve their critical thinking skills. Let's move on to the next research question. How is action executed in online learning? There are 5 statements. Collaborative learning promotes peer-to-peer understanding, 3.7. Ask for help from your peers, 3.8. Prefer to be in the same group with chosen peer for online activities, 4. The sense of community helps engagement in online class, 3.8. Support from peers motivation to finish tasks, 4.1, the highest. From this table, uh, it is safe to say that learners needed support from peers to finish their tasks. They also preferred to be in the same group with chosen peers for online activities. Next, they would also like to ask help from their peers, and they needed the sense of community to help them in engagement in online classes. They also felt that collaborative learning promotes peer-to-peer understanding. In conclusion, the findings in the study showed that the ease of presentation of the content is vital, and the learners, they want to be engaged with the content, and they would also prefer content to be given first before they start the class, and they really depend on their peers for motivation to engage in online classes. And these findings are supported by Martin and Bollinger, 2018, that learner-to-learner engagement is the most valued among online engagements. The implications for teachers, instructors, planning to have online classes, they should include more activities that would enhance peer interaction. In short, the peers, they are the key to motivation for online involvement. With that, I thank you.